what I wish people would understand about Asperger's. I guess I'm doing this video to try and help neurotypical people understand. I'll just move that Playboy poster out of the way just in case YouTube gets a bit funny about it. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm doing this video hopefully to help neurotypical people that know somebody with Asperger's or autism, and kind of like for other people with Asperger's and autism that are on YouTube and stuff, that are having problems with, being misunderstood and all that kind of stuff, because I know that it is a common thing. And I know I like to go on YouTube and watch other people's videos because it kind of gives you a bit of reassurance that you're not crazy, and there's like a sense of community there, and a lot of people don't know that many other people with Asperger's, so that's nice to feel like somebody gets it. So the first thing that I wish people would understand about Asperger's is that I can't turn my Asperger's on and off. This is a huge one, because it really does feel like a lot of the time people are like, oh yeah, that's fine, like, I totally get it, and there's nothing wrong with you, like, just be you, be yourself and all that, when you tell them about your Asperger's. But then when you actually show symptoms, or have a problem with something, or are unable to do something the same way they do it, then they get kind of upset or angry with you, or make you feel bad for things that you can't help, and it just makes it like really awkward and unpleasant for everybody involved, really. So yeah, like, I try and curb my symptoms as much as possible, really, by not doing things that are obviously going to cause me distress, or that I'm obviously not going to be able to do. And I've kind of built my whole life around my Asperger's just to minimise any breakdowns and depression and stuff like that. I mean, I'm laughing, but I really don't want that to happen again, and it probably will happen again at some point. But if you do what you can to ensure that the likelihood of that is minimised by working certain jobs and only going to certain places and avoiding places and people and things that scare the crap out of you, then it's gonna help, I think. But there's some things that we can't help, and sometimes things get difficult, and sometimes the last thing that we want is somebody looking down their noses at us and making us feel like shit because we can't do something exactly the same as they can do. So yeah, like, I can't turn it off and on just to please other people or make things easier for other people. I already try my best to make it easier for everybody else. So, and it'd be a lot easier for me if I didn't have the negative symptoms of Asperger's, but here we are. That's just my battery running out. Right, my battery was about to die, so I've got to awkwardly hold my phone while it's plugged into the socket, because it won't reach as far as in front of this laptop where I've got my notes, so that's good. The second one is, it's nice to be included in plans, but given the option to not go if I don't feel like it as well. So yeah, I mean, that instead of friends not texting me anymore or leaving me out by assuming that I don't like people at all, like, as much as my behaviour contradicts this a lot of the time, because I find socialising extremely difficult a lot of the time, I do actually like being around people, and I do like people, and I do like socialising now and then, in certain situations. It's not like I like being alone all the time and I don't want friends. I do want friends, and I have a couple of friends that appreciate that and, you know, kind of accept me for the person that I am, and, you know, accept the fact that I have other interests and other hobbies and stuff like that. You know, I'm not boring just because I don't want to go out all the time. It's just nice to be given the option as well, instead of being pressurized or feeling pressurized to do things, and sometimes do things that are obviously going to be incredibly difficult for you. So yeah, that's a big one. The next one is I get lonely even though I like being alone. Again, this is quite a big one as well. People seem to think that people with Asperger's don't get lonely and they're just absolutely fine sitting by themselves all the time. You know, it's like people with Asperger's don't have feelings, they're not like other human beings. That is not true at all. I get lonely now and then. Not so much now, I'm fine now. I've been fine for a while. But you know, like a few years ago, like I literally had no friends for quite a long time. Like literally nobody to speak to. So that was pretty awful. And yeah, like I did crave, like everybody else, I crave human interaction. I like humans. Some humans, not all humans. And you know, I don't know, I do like people. This is the thing. But you know, people seem to think that we're just best left alone, like, and I feel a lot of the time like people like me are swept under the carpet and just left, and it's not a nice feeling. Do you know what I mean? The next one is I don't understand hints, and you need to be black and white. To be fair, these are all like big ones. And yeah, I mean, I really don't understand hints. There's been so many times when people have tried to give me hints, and I couldn't even give you an example because I don't fully understand the concept of that way of thinking. And they've expected me to pick up on it and act on it, and I've just been like, I didn't understand what you were trying to tell me. Like, you know, why didn't you just tell me what exactly it was that you wanted to tell me, instead of just like giving me these weird signals, you know, like it's really alien to me. Yeah, I don't understand it. You need to tell me like up front, if I need to know something or whatever. The next one is I need structure and familiarity. So you can't just drop things on me last minute. I get this a lot, like with work and stuff. You know, they'll say, "Yep, we're gonna give you your reasonable adjustments, and you know you can work the same shifts every week." But then they'll change things like last minute and add me onto things, and you know expect me to do things that I've never done before, with zero communication, and it's just like, what are you doing? Do you know what I mean? I really struggle with that, and I don't like it when there's no familiarity. If I'm in a new place, particularly if I'm on my own, it's just like hell. It feels like I'm in a completely different country. Maybe I am in a different country, which is even worse. Um, I mean, I wanted to go travelling on my own a few years back, and then I just kind of chickened out of it. Sorry, I was gonna go to Thailand and all that, and I just couldn't, like, I just couldn't do it. Like, the reality of it kicked in, and I would not have been able to cope with that amount of like lack of structure, and you know, not knowing where I am, not knowing anybody. And not only that, it's like the food's completely different and the language is completely different, and yeah, I mean, you know, Thailand and Laos and Vietnam and that, they look beautiful places, but I could never go on my own. So, and that, I'm not just talking about, I'm not just talking about traveling. I'm talking about like going to a different city in the UK. Um, like I used to be really bad with public transport, like even just local buses. Now I'm not too bad with stuff like that. And I'd like to think I'm quite a whiz on trains now, and I never thought I'd say that. Um, sorry, got a bad chest. Um, yeah, now like I know exactly what I'm doing with trains. If you tell me to get a train somewhere, I can sort it out start to finish no problem and end up there on time. But a few years ago, I wouldn't even get on a fucking train. So, you know, you can make progress with these things, but I love familiarity and structure. The next one is I don't like small talk and I prefer to engage in social interaction that's centered around a special interest or activity, i.e., a gig or going urbexing, urban exploration, looking around abandoned buildings, going to a particular event as long as it's not really busy and loud. Um, you know, I don't really like social interaction with no purpose. Um, and I don't like doing small talk about things that are really boring and menial and mean nothing just for the sake of talking to somebody. I'd rather just not say anything, but that's socially unacceptable to do that, so I have to shoehorn myself into talking about boring, menial things, and I'm going over the same three things. So sorry. I'm going over the same three things over and over again, and I'm sure people must pick up on the fact that I haven't got that much in the small talk vocabulary or small talk bank or whatever, and they must find talking to me really boring, unless I've got things in common with them, and then I can talk for hours about things that I'm interested in. So, yeah. The next one is if you don't tell me something's a secret, I might repeat it. I'm not saying that I will repeat it, but I might just bring it up in conversation at another point without even realising that it was a secret. So that's got me into trouble before. And, you know, I can see why it has upset people and stuff. And, you know, I've been construed as being a gossip or whatever before. This was a while ago. It's not really a problem anymore. I don't mix with that many people. I'm very selective. um, so, yeah, and I'm a lot more mindful of it now. And I try and, you know, and if I'm not sure about it, I'll ask them, like, is that something that I can't repeat? Or, you know. So, yeah, it's the same with the hints thing. You just need to be more black and white with me and not expect me to just, you know, automatically do something or not do something. And the last thing that I could think of today, there's probably a whole lot more, but the last thing I could think of today is if I turn the TV down or the stereo down while you're talking to me, it's not because I'm being rude, it's just I can't concentrate on the conversation. Like, I do this with my driving instructor when I'm finding it hard to concentrate or whatever, because I've got ADD as well. I'll have to turn the radio off, and he likes having the radio on, and he understands, you know, that that's because I need to concentrate, obviously. But, you know, a couple of times before, people have been a bit funny with that, and it's just like, I can't, like, you're either talking to me or you're watching TV. You know, I can't listen to what you're saying and concentrate on it fully, and have the TV on in the background or whatever at the same time. Like, it's one or the other. Like, any background noise or anything, it really, really, yeah. And even when I'm laid in bed at night and, you know, next door's having a conversation, even if they're not being really loud or there's noise going off downstairs or the light switch coming on and off or whatever, I'm very easily disturbed with sounds. I have like I can't remember what protection earplugs I've got now, but they're like industrial strength. I'm sure they're like 20 something dB or whatever, and I can still sometimes hear things through them. So I've obviously got, you know, the sound side of Asperger's where where the sound thing is heightened, and I pick up on a lot of stuff that other people can't hear properly, which is a bit weird, but yeah. And stuff like car alarms and, you know, like the whirring from the heating, um, just, you know, the constant like buzzing and stuff like that, you know, like electrical buzzing. Absolutely hate it. Really, really does my head in. And, you know, people are like, well, you know, there's nothing wrong with it, or I can't really hear it. Yeah, you can't really hear it, but I can. Um, but yeah, before I start ranting on and going off on tangents and whatnot, that's about it. If there's things that you wish people would understand about your autism, your Asperger's, please comment below, because people do read the comments. So, you know, it'll probably benefit somebody else somewhere, just to get more things out there that we want neurotypical people to know. I hope that's been helpful. If it's been helpful, please like the video, and if you've not already, please subscribe. And yeah, thank you for watching.